All right. I was just watching a video on YouTube. I think it was David. Yeah, it was David Dole. It was about a new ad from Biden, and something occurred to me as I was doing watching the video and making comments, and it's something that's been nagging at me since since the mid to late '80s, and that is that I kept on seeing this reoccurring thing happen where those who were doing the criminal back dealing, those who were cutting social safety nets, those who were constantly voting. One of the earliest ones is when I was living in Massachusetts, and the Massachusetts State Congress voted their own salary increases. And these self same people who were giving out contracts and subsidies and so on and so forth. Like for instance, there was supposed to be public works, except the company that got the contract wasn't even doing the fucking work. They had all the stuff, but they just sat there for months upon months upon months upon months to years, and nothing was getting done. The Big Dig in Boston, that was another utter fiasco. And the politicians were connected. And this is a state. This is a national thing. And so what I saw was, is all these so-called politicians, these representatives, somehow, with all the stuff that they were doing, that even the establishment media did stories on. Yet, and there were dozens upon dozens upon dozens to hundreds of these things, and yet I found it weird that they kept on getting into office. I found it suspicious that they kept on holding offices, and this is not just the Congress, but you have judges, you have DAs, you have police chiefs and sheriffs and so on and so forth. The city councils and you name it. It's like it didn't make any sense. And you had like Tip O'Neill. I'm like, that fucking asshole was found multiple times with DUI, yet he kept on holding the position. There's a pretty infamous place in Massachusetts. I forget the name of the so-called restaurant, but this is where all the politicians of Massachusetts go, and there were stories about them doing, basically collaborating and with businesses amongst themselves, and I was like, so I could never understand, and this was a trend that I was seeing all across the country, and on the federal level or the national level. It's like, so this nagged at me and nagged at me and nagged at me, and as I started paying somewhat close attention to local to state and federal elections, I started also seeing the polls, that's constantly flouted. and then the margins of voters as well. And something started to percolate, and it just finally and it's something that I've been considering, and it's now becoming more cemented. Is that if you look at all that, and I think if we were to actually look closely at it, I think we'll start to understand that we have over 300 million people, but it looks like maybe 30 to 40, maybe 50 million people are the core ones that basically keep putting the that keep putting these criminals in, and that involves gerrymandering. That involves voter suppression. That involves a lot of fuckery, criminal fuckery that these people should be put into jail for, whether they're in the DNC or the RNC. And I don't have the facts because I'm not really all that great. I talk about a lot about technology and so on and so forth, but there's just so much crap, and I honestly don't have the patience. But this is more than just anecdotal. It's more than just coincidence that I keep seeing this dynamic happening, and I'm interested in seeing if anybody else has picked up on this. Um, and I think if somebody who knows where to go looking, because I certainly don't, or how to read all of this and looks at it, I think they might actually see what I come to the conclusion to uh, is that if you're really not part of the if you're not part of the valued elite of voters, uh, which these criminals have basically stipulated are the core, and most of them are whether you're a liberal or whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. It seems like most of them are more affluent suburban or or uh, or metropolitan, um, and as well as metropolitan, not urban. So it seems like most of it is geared towards those who are more well off to more than well off, and so uh, has anybody made this connection? And uh, and if you know uh, more better than me on the uh, on the shit fuckery that happens, uh, and knows how to find this sort of stuff, I'd like to see if my conclusions can be confirmed. Uh, uh, so there's that. As I said, it's something that I've been noticing since the mid to late '80s, and I think if I'm to be honest and rational and logical about it, if that's the case, it's been happening for far longer than the mid to late '80s. It's probably been happening for centuries. Uh, so that's my hypothesis, and unfortunately, it's uh, what's taking place in more recent is starting to prove my my nagging my nagging feeling and hypothesis correct. All right. Thanks for your time.